Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm marking a milestone. It's been 1 year since I ditched the dye and started letting my hair go natural. As you can see, I have quite a bit of white and gray framing my face, but I have a surprising amount of dark hair at the back, at least surprising to me, and it's much darker than these end pieces that used to be closer to my natural color. I'll just swing around so you can have a look at my gray pattern so far. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the grow out. At first, I was a bit self-conscious about these very white areas here at my temples, but I've become more accepting of those, and I kind of like the way I have white and gray because I feel like it gives my hair a bit of dimension. I still struggle some days with the 3 colors of hair, you know, with the amount of brown that I still have. But I'm even becoming more accepting of that. So I guess part of this journey, you know, it does give you time to sort of have a mental adjustment to the grow out process. One thing I did notice the other day though, when I put my hair back in a ponytail like that, I don't see any brown on the top of my head. So, you know, in the beginning I could see it here and then I could see that it was moving back. But then suddenly I realized all I see here is white and gray on the top. I can definitely see it on the bottom here in my ponytail, and that's fine. But that was kind of an aha moment. I thought, wow, like I really am getting somewhere. So I can definitely still see a bit of brown when I turn my head like that. But face on, I can't, and that's progress. So I just want to say a big thank you to anybody that watched my first video and left words of encouragement and support. Those words really meant a lot to me, especially on days where, you know, I just wasn't feeling this whole process and was having a bit of a wobble. So thank you for your support. It really means a lot to me. And for anybody that hasn't watched my first video, I'll leave the link here so you can check it out. So at the end of that video, my stylist and I were getting ready to possibly do some color correction at the front of my hair. We were just going to target these pieces here at the front. So when I went for the appointment, that didn't happen. My stylist changed her mind and just decided we should just keep doing what we're doing, which is basically just every 6 to 8 weeks I go for a trim and get more of the brown cut off. I just recently had my hair trimmed, so this is about as short as I'm happy to go because I do like to put my hair back. But I'll show you a picture of the before just so you can see what that was like before I got my hair trimmed just last week. So one of the comments on my previous video was from somebody that mentioned they wish they could braid. They had a difficult time braiding, especially their own hair. So I just wanted to show you that the braided hairband that I did, you can actually do that as a simple twist. And the final look is very similar to the braided hairband. I'll post a picture of the two side by side and you can just see what I mean. So in order to do the twisted hairband, you start out the same way. You just gather some hair at the front. Just enough to make a hairband or just to put it back a little bit. And I put the rest in a ponytail, just the same as I was doing for the braided hairband. And then I just flip it on the side. And then I start twisting at the ear. And just grab a little segment of hair here and just gently twist it back. You don't want to twist too tightly because you don't want to put a lot of tension on the hair. But just grab little segments and just incorporate them into the roll. And I tend to use fairly small segments because I find once the roll is finished, the segments kind of separate a little bit and it reveals some of the darker gray underneath. And I kind of like that. So, yep, just keep picking up little pieces and rolling them back. So I do like to do simple hairstyles. I find it sort of takes the focus away from just my hair color. I'm less self-conscious about it now, certainly. I've had quite a bit of time to adjust to it, but I still like to do just a few little things to change it up for myself. So once I get to the ear, I put a couple bobby pins in here. So if I were to twist right to the end and just put an elastic on here, it's just gonna untwist. So I just put a couple bobby pins and I just start and head right up into the coil of the roll, just to kind of secure it a little bit so it doesn't come loose. If you don't put the bobby pins in, over time it just sort of uncurls a little bit and it starts to get quite boggy. And then I use one of my little clips and just secure the tail piece underneath. And you'll see it just has a very similar look to the hairband, but it's super easy. And you can see what I mean about the segments of hair. So that's super simple and easy. And another thing I do with this same segment of hair, sometimes I just do like a little bun. You can do it on the top or on the side, but I tend to do it on the side because I think it gives like a little bit of a vintage look. So basically just put my hair in a ponytail here, just a little tail up at the top. I would normally use a smaller elastic, but the one that I had just broke, so I'm just leaving it off. So I just start out like that, and I just twist it just a tiny bit, and then I kind of make it into a little coil. And just sort of flatten it out with my hand a little bit, and then stick a couple bobby pins in. So when I do this, you can definitely see all three colors of hair because my brown tips are right at the very top. I don't really like the way that looks too much, but you know, I'm kind of over it at this point. I just kind of try not to think about it too much. So that's basically what I do, just a flat little bun. And like I said, you could put it in the center if you want. So that's super easy and fast. That's my kind of hairstyle. Another thing I do, and it's really, I wouldn't really actually call it a hairstyle, but it's just a little tip, something that I discovered recently. So if I'm exercising or doing something active outside, I put this little section in an elastic, and sometimes I'll just put my ball cap on like that, or put it back like that and then put my ball cap on. But sometimes I'll just leave it down, and what I find is this tail piece like can swing around sometimes and come around to the front. I don't really like that. It sort of irritates me a little bit. So what I do is like the little topsy-turvy thing where basically you part your hair and just flip your ponytail inside out into the part and then pull it through. Sorry, I got a little bit of a snag there. So it gives a little top knot effect at the top, but also it really anchors that tail piece so that it doesn't swing around nearly as much. And I found that really helps me. So I don't know if that little tip will come in handy for anybody, but I just don't really like having the brown visible all the time. Another thing I do is I do use hairbands quite a bit, and one that I quite like, it's super simple and fast. I'm just going to take my earrings out for 1 second. So this is the little hairband that I use. It's by Goody, and it's just a little plastic thing with a clasp at the back. So I just put it around my neck like that and do it up. And then I just kind of put my hair back to the back, and then I put the hairband in. And you can have it as far forward or back as you like. I do just kind of like the way it parts the hair, and it has that little zigzag effect on the sides, and it's super easy. So then I can put my hair in a ponytail and wear it like that, or just wear it down. So in the beginning, I would have been very self-conscious about all this color, you know, the 3 colors of hair, but I am getting a bit desensitized to it. I don't like it that much, but I don't hate it like I did in the beginning. So that's very, very simple. One thing I noticed the other day, like sometimes when I'm driving the car and I look at myself, catch a glimpse of myself in the rearview mirror, I'm like, whoo, like stop the car. Is that really me? Like, I just can't believe I have white and gray hair. You know, the whole thing with accepting, you know, your age and where you're at. I think, you know, when you let your hair go natural, there's a lot of that going on. So it's still kind of a mental adjustment for me, but I'm working on it. So one other thing I did, which was kind of funny, and it's just a complete disaster. I bought this gray hairpiece online because I always wanted to have bangs, and my bangs are whenever I've had bangs, they just get kind of fluffy and they don't really lie down properly. It's just the texture and nature of my hair. So I don't tend to get them cut short, but I've tried a few times, but it's just higher maintenance for me. So I bought this little hairpiece and it's quite cute, but I had to laugh, like when I was selecting the color, it was granny gray. And I was like, couldn't it be like glamorous gray or gorgeous gray? No, granny gray. So I'm like, okay. I put one of those in my shopping cart. And when it came, it's totally the wrong color for me, as you can see. It doesn't match in any way, but it's really soft, and I wish my bangs would lay down the way these ones do. Anyway, it's quite funny. I did put my hair in a ponytail and put it in. It doesn't match my hair color in any way, so it's horrible with my actual hair. But I did put my hair back in a ponytail and put this on, and I took a picture so you can see what it looks like. But obviously I won't be wearing this anytime soon, but or anytime ever. But I do think, there are some fun options with little hair pieces and extensions, for ponytails and bangs and whatnot. But this is proof that it is very hard to get the right color matching. But this was the only gray option available. So anyway, I chose it. I knew it was a risk. It was a complete waste of time. So, but it is kind of a funny thing. So you have to have a sense of humor about this sometimes. So yeah, I want to say, this is quite a long process. If your hair is longer, longer than mine, or you might find that if you're on this journey that it actually is difficult to see progress sometimes. So I would encourage you to take photos along the way, because that really does help. When you look at the photos, you can see that, the growth is coming through. But it is really, really hard to see, day to day, and even month to month. Sometimes it's hard to see, that you're actually making progress. Overall, I'd say people have been very supportive, about my decision. Some people, when the subject comes up, and I don't bring it up, but if someone mentions something about my natural hair, people automatically feel like they have to explain to me why this process wouldn't be for them. And I totally get that, because 2 years ago, I've been thinking about this for quite a while, but 2 years ago, this wasn't on my radar, and it was a big no for me. But it is interesting, that people will say, oh, I could never do that. And one friend told me that none of the women in her family had natural hair. Her mom, grandma, sisters, everybody, dyed their hair for their entire adulthood. And she just wouldn't be comfortable for that reason. It just wasn't something she would ever consider. And, that's absolutely fine. But it kind of got me thinking too, because my sister that's a year older than me let her hair go natural about 8 years ago or so. When she did it, it really wasn't popular or trendy, or, it wasn't a thing. And I'm wondering now if maybe that influenced her decision, because my mom never dyed her hair through her whole life, ever. And so I don't know if that was part of my sister's, gave her some strength and encouragement. I don't know, but I'll have to ask her about that. The other thing is, someone else mentioned to me that, they love their salon appointments, that, the salon appointment is like self-caring for them. It's their one luxury, and they really enjoy it. And I think, what, that's great. If you feel like that's self-caring and you like the way it looks and you're happy with it, then that's great, and you should just keep doing it. Everybody should do what they're comfortable with. But if you are thinking about going on this journey, I'd love your company along the way. I'm definitely getting, feel like I'm getting somewhere. I still feel like I have a long way to go. I don't know how long this whole process will take, but I did do the dye strip technique in the beginning, and I feel like now that set me back just a little bit, because you also notice I have more grow out on the left side than the right. I realize my part is off center, but also because I did the dye strip technique, I did sort of set myself back a bit, and the grow out on the right is, has a little catching up to do. But it did help me through the awkward phase in the beginning when I was self-conscious about my roots showing. So, there's kind of pros and cons to it. But, if I was in the mindset that I am now, I would have been able just to go cold turkey from the beginning, but I just wasn't ready for that. So anyway, I have to say it is very freeing, having natural hair. I don't dread my appointments anymore. I actually really look forward to them. I'm in and out of there in about a half an hour, 40 minutes. In the past, I was just have to organize my schedule, around special occasions and anything special going on where I wanted to look my best. I always made sure, I had a hair appointment, vacations, whatever. So it's very freeing. I'm not tied to that at all anymore. I do want my hair to look as good as it can for where I am on this journey. And I do try and put a little bit of effort into myself, but it is what it is. I have to say, sometimes I think I've had more bad hair days over this last year than usual. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I think sometimes when I'm just having like a low mood day or whatever, I attribute it more to my hair color than to other factors that are going on. So it's not just about the hair ever. But I do think when I was dyeing my hair, I wasn't as self-conscious. I didn't really have this whole other situation going on. So sometimes I think I have to reflect and maybe adjust my thinking a little bit. So it's not just about the hair color. So anyway, I'll post again in about 4 months and let you know how I'm doing with my progress. I really appreciate it if you have any questions for me, any comments. I look forward to reading them and also responding. So so this is where I'm at 1 year in. If I can do it, you can do it. And I would really appreciate your company along the way if you're considering this. So have a great day, everybody.